Joe Mullins, and we're going to talk about his recovery. Well, I'm going to ask you some tough questions, Joe.
Go ahead.
I am. Questions that, and I may bring up, is it okay if I bring up some of these these Facebook posts, and I'm going to bring up everything because
I don't care.
I know you don't care. I'm going to bring it all up anyway.
It's a lot of liberal attacks and stuff, so we're fine with it.
Okay, whatever you want to do. Oh, hey guys, let me close the blinds that way because I see it over there. That's why
I'm
this
gonna
is
have
called
to.
behind
I got
the scenes.
technical difficulty, guys. So be right
All right, that darkens it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Hello.
See if that does.
You can't turn your phone while recording.
Yeah, but it's good.
Oh,
So
no, it's not.
we
It's
just
going to be
can't-
upside down.
Why?
See where the live is? The live should be turning the other way. Hey guys.
All right, so we'll just do it this way.
You have to turn it the normal regular way.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You see what he and I do all the time? No, I don't. No, I don't. This is why this is the behind the scenes. He think he knows. He does not know. Oh, let me make sure I'm muted
I do it
here.
all the time.
Yeah, and people have to watch your video like this, I'm sure.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay.
Mine's special.
You're special? Okay. If he says so. I don't understand why he just won't share mine, but no, he got to have his own.
I can boost mine.
Oh, good point. Very good point.
Ah, this charger's killing me.
Poor thing.
There we go.
Here we go. I should have tagged him in this. Oh, I don't think I can.
All right, so now we'll get it up and going, and there it is, and the live is up top. So we'll
It's
figure it
still-
out. Okay. All right. Hello,
right, you ready?
everybody.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning. Good morning. Wake up. Good morning. I say that every week, I think, for the past 8-9 years. I tell people good morning and to wake up.
Wake up.
I might need to come in with another intro.
You know what was crazy when you're talking about the sunrise. The sunrise, I used to look up and say,
Right.
"Oh my God, it's time to go to bed. The sun's coming up." It was my actual sunset.
Okay. So that's
There's a story behind
that is the voice of Commissioner Joe Mullins, aka Joe.
Good morning, everyone.
I don't know if you have an AKA.
No, I'm pretty much who I am. I don't hide it. That's why when somebody says they want transparency, I go, guys, you asked for it.
Yeah. So welcome you to the show. And this was pre-recorded prior to the election. So I want everybody to know that. So your responses are not going to be based on winning or losing an election. In fact, we were going to start the show and just talk about commissioner things, but we've decided to air this after the election on August the 23rd.
Yeah, and I'm
the
good with
primary,
whatever
that's it.
outcome is. I've learned a lot in my life to just turn things over to God, and what's meant to be will be. Some people talk about my personality and they say, oh, it's very aggressive. It's not typical political. You're similar to Trump. It is. But I'm going to tell you, a guy told me very nicely yesterday. He said, if some of those 88,000 IRS agents show up in Flagler County, we want you defending us. We know you will. You don't intimidated by the media, and you're not going to play the games.
I had a conversation with someone the other day, not necessarily in reference to you, but just overall looking at the slate of candidates within Flagler County. And of course, I'm conservative. And, what happened with the IRS agents and, everything that's been going on right now, especially what's happened with Trump and Mar-a-Lago, I go, we should vote for the candidates that if Trump was hiding in Flagler County, they're not going to let him go. And they're not going to turn him in. And someone said Joe Mullins is probably hiding him.
I absolutely
Is that
would.
a compliment?
I absolutely would. Why do you think the Democrats and the liberals attack me so hard on Facebook? It's because I stand strong, and they go, well, if you just be quiet, we wouldn't care. And I go, guys, I'm not going to be quiet. Y'all aren't quiet.
Do you believe, I mean, okay, I know you're attacked, but do you feel like you attack them?
I stand my ground. I don't attack them. I stand my ground. If you think about it, I never seek. If you let me ask you this: have you ever seen me post on someone else's page?
I don't know because I don't follow you like that on Facebook. I'm
I've
sorry.
never. I will give money to anyone that
So you
shows that I
never
posted on their page.
I don't do that either. I find that
No.
people often comes on my. I'm like, listen, post on your own account.
I
If
may
you,
share my page and then they comment on it and I respond. But at
you
some
don't go out
point,
seeking
no,
to look.
no, not at all. I don't have time for that. I just listen. I'm transparent, and it's my personal page, and I've got a freedom of speech, and that's what most of this county says when I knock on their doors. They go, look, we just want to be able to have our freedom. We don't want government or some whacked out liberal telling us how to live.
I want to talk about your sobriety and your recovery because I have no idea. I mean, of course, I lost my daughter not that long ago, and I know it's the grace of God that keeps me going. I know it. There's just absolutely no doubt I would be in a Looney Tune bin or something
Well,
like that.
let me ask you
But
this.
how do you? Hold on. This is my show.
I
Why
know,
are you
I
asking
know,
me questions?
but I wanted to throw something at you with your daughter. Who would you rather come help your daughter?
You or who? Someone else? Is that what you're asking?
Me? If you had a problem with opioids, which
Right.
or
Right.
addiction,
Okay.
who would you want to come? Who would you call
If I had a problem with
in your
addiction,
family?
if there was someone that understands, someone that's been delivered from that,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
So I want to talk about your addiction and your recovery because how do you hold it together? This is my original question, really, and thought. The wheels would have fell off the wagon. The way the stuff that comes at you on social media so often. I mean, not every now and then. We're talking consistently, constantly, all the time. People are bad mouthing you and talking down to you. And I think they forget you're a recovering addict and you've held it together, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years, Joe.
You know what? As crazy as that may seem to some, I'll go into the deepest part of deepest part of addiction, the deepest part of hurt in your life to take you to a drug that makes you want to escape. And you're willing to do that drug at all costs, including losing your life, losing your kids, losing your mother, losing your father, losing your brothers and sisters, losing your career. Go to that point in life and stare the evil and the badness in the eyes, and you'll know what I've looked at. I've stared some of the worst stuff in my life when I was in addiction. I remember sitting there one time, PJ. It was 5, 6 years into my addiction. I got my master's degree. I had gotten 2 degrees, and I remember there crying, going, looking at the cocaine on the table, sniffing it, and going, I can't stop. It's been 3 weeks. I've eaten 1 meal. I can't stop. I had a gallon of vodka a day I would drink. I can't stop. All that my mom has done, taking me to church, working with me as a child, all of that means nothing right now. This drug owns me, and I've gone too far, and I'll never be able to return. That's where I sat. So when all these people attack me, they don't realize I've been in a much, much worse place.
I'm going to tell you that's strength that just must come from somewhere.
I cried my eyes out that day,
because the
thinking I'm going to
amount of
die
the
by the
attacks,
drugs.
which reminds me, just recently, by the time this show airs, it would have been a few weeks. You got a phone call. Let me talk about my phone call first, because I received a phone call from you. You went, PJ, I was involved in a drug bust, and I said, Joe, don't call me with some
I
foolishness.
couldn't believe you didn't believe. You went to
I-
the worst thought.
No, I said, Joe, I did not go to the worst thought. I said, Joe, don't call me with foolishness. She said, I'm telling you the truth. I was involved in the drug bust. It's going to come out in the news. And my response was, where are you? I'm on my way. Where are you? It wasn't so much that you had done it. It wasn't any of those things. my heart just went, oh my goodness, I know you're about to celebrate 11 years. I wanted whatever I've seen you go through, your brother passing. I've seen you go through so much ridicule and craziness. Some of it self-inflicted, might I add, but a lot of it, and you still stayed sober. And I was like, what could have gotten him to this point? Of course, you were not involved in a drug deal like you were buying drugs. Someone I don't think they accidentally text you, and I hope by the time the show airs, we find out because I believe you were targeted. That's my
There
opinion.
is an active investigation
That
going on
you
right
were
now.
targeted.
Yeah.
You have a Georgia number. You don't even have a Florida number. How did someone in Florida, some kid 18 years old, which I'm praying for him as well, randomly dialed your number? I mean, how do you get past that? And during the conversation, you were telling me that you were going to go to a meeting because you were having too much fun texting back and forth. It's like your addiction started
It
coming
was
up.
like an old time. It was like, oh my God, this is. I
You,
mean,
I'm
for
getting
a
ready to
minute
buy
there,
some drugs.
I was thinking, oh my God, I've been here before. The deputy was shocked. He's like, man, you're really good at this. And I went, I lived this for 12 years, every day of my life. I lived it. I would buy a dealer out of his drugs. That's how bad I wanted them and bad I was addicted. That's why I cried that day because I had more of a craving for a drug than I did to get oxygen or food in my body.
Addiction is a horrible thing. It really and truly is a horrible thing. And
It masked the pain, so you think.
so you think.
So you
So
think.
what do you use now? And I'm wondering, and I'm just asking you this question because these are a couple of things that people have come up to me. All the ridicule and the fights against you and how you're able to stand in the pushback, is that your new addiction in a way?
No, it isn't. It's part of it is realizing that I can't fix these people. Part of my addiction is I want to fix everything. My mom was.
I've got some stuff you could fix.
Yeah, my mom was hurt when my dad died. She was
Mm-hmm.
very hurt, and all I wanted to do was fix her pain. And I grew up, and I realized what I thought in my head was if you needed me, I needed to be able to fix something. So the pain of my addiction comes from the pain of seeing someone else hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to fix that. So when I go to talk to these people, I have to remember they're not there to discuss something. They're there to argue, attack. They're suffering. A lot of them are suffering from addiction. They may not be on an active drug or alcohol, but you know what? I guarantee they got a shopping or a food or a drinking or a smoking, or there's some addiction there, something that they're doing to mask the pain that they're in. Because when you lash out at a person like that, it usually says something internally in you is going on.
Oh, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere to touch the dial. We're going to talk a little bit more to Commissioner Joe Mullins, and I'm going to ask him some of the tough questions. You thought those were hard. Here
I'm
comes
not
some more.
answering.
You're not answering? All right. Don't go anywhere to touch the dial.
I'm pleading the second.
Oh, please. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Going to shoot me?
Oh, is that the second? Dadgummit, those amendments.
You knew what it was. Oh, all right. You ready? Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay, and my guest is Commissioner Joe Mullins. And woo, we're talking about addiction. We're talking about some of the hard stuff. I mean, just recently, you were supposedly randomly text or call. People saying stuff like, that was your drug dealer. I'm thinking this 18-year-old child
Do you know
is
how
in
old
jail.
he was when I last touched a drug?
Oh.
He was 7 years old. He was my son's age.
Yeah. So, you know, that was your drug dealer, how you turn your drug dealer in. And I'm thinking this guy, once he sobers up, is going to be incarcerated. And if he was your drug dealer, I'd be like, Joe Mullins is my is my customer. That would have been in the papers and stuff
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
think at this point.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding it was like fentanyl that he had.
Yeah, this wasn't meant to get me high. This was meant to
Okay,
kill me.
let's talk about that a little bit.
That was enough to kill 1,500 people. That's half of my concerts at Daly Center that I do. That means every other person in there would be sitting dead in a seat if that fentanyl had got out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what he was supposedly trying to sell
And
you
back in my
randomly.
day, I
Oh.
would have done half of that within the first few hours. That's how much I would do. It was a heavy addiction. That's why I say this stuff that I get attacked with today doesn't mean anything compared to what I
you've
went
gone
through.
through
Yeah.
and compared to what you've gone through.
And you ask how I do it. Let me tell you, there's one way I do it.
Okay.
It's my relationship that I have with Jesus Christ. That's it. It's not perfect. I'm not a perfect person, but I can hear him today talk to me. I have a great relationship with Jesus Christ today, and that's what keeps me sober.
I posted on the sheriff's, Flagler County Sheriff's Facebook page, a post about how grateful and thankful I was that the drugs and the drug dealer was off the street.
Yeah.
And I was celebrating your sobriety. And in that, I started getting all kinds of messages and text messages. One in particular came from Jane Gentile Yude. And she said, "How about sharing his threatening, vicious, slanderous emails to me?" I'm quoting, "with your congregation, which he has been continuously composing during his recovery as chairman of the Flagler County Commission." And then she goes on talking about, she sent me an email 4 years ago about somebody with some names of cars and that I laughed. And then she called me. You ready for this one? She called me a female Uncle Tom. She really and truly did.
And she calls me racist?
My response to her was, let me get this straight. You heard me laugh through an email 4 years ago? This is what I'm thinking. And you
Yeah.
also complain about Joe calling people names, but yet you call me a name. And then she did ask me if I was getting paid and all this other kind of stuff for defending him. And I said, all I'm doing is celebrating your recovery. And my answer to her question was, for all your inquiries, you need this: a life-changing, life-altering relationship with Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
You talk about your relationship with Jesus Christ, and there are some critics would say your relationship with Christ isn't that great because you do all these things. What's your response to that?
Well, what do I do? What do I do bad? I argue with people. I stand my ground. I mean, all this other stuff is, the attacks on my business. If you look at this, we did this to Trump. Trump was bankrupt. He was frauding the government. He was sleeping with porn stars. This is the MO that happens today. Let me ask you something. If we had social media back
You
when
like
King
asking
David,
me a lot of questions.
when King David was here, when King David was on this earth,
He likes.
I do. I love asking you questions. It's a phrase that I say. But if King David was here,
Uh-huh.
can you imagine what they would have done on social media to him?
Oh, okay. So let's not compare you to King David, and let's not even
no,
compare
no,
you to
no.
Trump.
I'm
Let's
saying
just,
those
yeah,
guys.
let's just talk about you and your relationship. I don't have a perfect relationship, so I dare not pass judgment on you.
Mhm.
But are there days and times you go, I shouldn't have said that?
Oh, that's
Or,
every day.
I shouldn't have done that.
Every day.
Oh, I went
every
too
day,
far.
Every
you
day.
know?
You got to remember, being in recovery didn't make me perfect. It didn't. I have 40. I was 41 before I went into recovery. I have 41 years of conditioning of being crazy Joe. So I battle that, and it's battled daily.
Mm.
So it's in
So
part of my battle.
sometimes you go, I shouldn't have done that.
Part of my battle.
Can you think of anything?
Oh God, my brother tells me all the time, why did you touch that? Why did you go help that person? That only gets egg on you. Most commissioners, if they would have got a random text or a call,
Mm-hmm.
which let me clear it up. It wasn't a text, it was a phone call, and then it went into texting. And the sheriff knows that. It just
Right.
came out texting because it was so much texting. I
Right.
just didn't want to talk to the guy because I wanted to witness to him more than I wanted to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
But if a random phone call came to any other commissioner, do you think they would have picked up the phone and called the sheriff's office, or would they have said, "Oh my God, I can't have that in the media," and they would have quietly pretended it didn't happen?
I can't really answer that. What I do know is that everything that you do and say is
Do you
highlighted.
think they would have gone 5 hours
No, I don't.
texting
Oh,
and
I
going
can't
back and
answer.
forth?
I can't answer for the other commissioners, but what I can say is that anything you do, anything you say is highlighted. There's this lady, I can't think of her name. She's always, and you probably know who it is, just every time you turn around, she's talking about, oh, the sheriff's department, this was a setup to make you look good. I'm going, first of all, Sheriff Staley wouldn't do anything like that remotely close. The sheriff's department would
He won't
not.
even fix a ticket.
True. He won't even fix the
Yeah.
ticket. He is not going to go to the extent of this. And it's just people's hatred for you is so bad. I even had another lady, can't think of her name, in the same text stream, go, why don't you say these things to Joe? And I'm going, I say a lot of things to Joe. We talk all the time. We pray together. I encourage you, whether you take my advice or not, I don't, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'm not caught up, and we can say that I'm not caught up in that part of your life.
Do you know why you don't understand this, and a lot of people don't understand it, and I do?
Mm-hmm.
Addiction, when you're actively in addiction, and a lot of these people are suffering, a lot of these people hurt inside. When you're actively dealing with addiction and you see someone who has fought it hard and is winning against it,
Mm.
who is sober and is under the same stress you're under, but maybe even more, and they're remaining sober, it's easier to hate them and think that it's fake than it is to accept that you aren't doing what you can potentially do. When I was in addiction, I hated seeing people like me today that would take my shit and be able to stand strong and look back at me and go, I'm not letting you overcome me with this. I'm
Mm.
not letting you make me drink. I'm not letting you make me do a drug. Most of these people would celebrate if I fell in
That's
my
a sad.
recovery
I made a comment.
because it would make them feel better.
I made a public comment about that. Is the drug dealers would celebrate if you went back out there in the street and started buying their stuff again. They wouldn't care that you were sober for 11 years. And if you made one mistake, it's like you're practically crucified. Oh, there go Joe. There go Joe. Your life is played out in the media so much, most of which is inaccurate, isn't even real. But it's crazy strange. What I get, and it's just me talking to you because I love you, you're my brother, is they go, "What does he have?" This was an exact comment from some lady. I don't even really know her, Angie Zeno or whatever. She goes, "What does he have on you?" Talking about what you have on me. And my response to her is this, and we got to take a break after this one. It says, whew, it's not what he has on me. I don't know if you've seen this. It's more what I have for him.
Yeah,
Love.
yeah,
Love bears all things, believe all things, hope all things, endures all things. Real love causes one to love even the unlovable. Godly love doesn't fail. I've never made excuses for Joe's behavior. I just love him, encourage him, and love him some more. I'm often asked about why or how I can stand by him. I'm asked that a lot. Did you know that, Joe?
mm,
You know? And I think about that a lot. And here's the thing. Love doesn't keep a record of wrongs. I don't need to agree with you or need to agree with him, is what I said, or his actions to love him. Although, admittedly, I occasionally tell him about himself because, I'm human and I want you the best for you.
hmm
What you see in our relationship, and this is what I want people to see because I have a godly audience that listen and I have people that going to go, oh, she's crazy. What I want people to see is an example of God love for us all,
yeah,
which is true. If God cast us off or out because of what we do or what we say, where would we be? Your life is played out in the media with the lens of judgment and hatred, and I get it, I do. But I'm here to tell you there's another side. This is what I tell this
yeah.
lady. There's
You know
another
the real
side to
me.
Joe. The media don't like to see an aside, Joe. I'm going to tell you, you don't want people to see either because you think it's a sign of weakness. And I think that's your addiction making you think it's a sign of weakness, that you're a man that deeply cares for people, that you deeply care for life. And there's a side of you that you keep hidden because your addicted mind, your addiction mind, your addict mind, I should say, thinks that. I don't even make excuses for you. And I say this publicly. I love you. And I want you to know that.
Thank
I
you.
love you with the love of Christ.
Thank
And
you.
if people could love people that way, how do you cast off people because they sin? I'm so grateful Jesus didn't do that to any of us. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So love doesn't, I don't know half the stuff that people accuse you of just because I don't look at media and I don't play out in that. When we're together, we're just talking about family and love and helping people. That's all we do.
But you know what the sad thing is? If you think about it, the media could do one of two things.
What's that?
They could talk about all the positive things that Joe Mullins has done in this community for the last 3.5 years,
Mm,
or they could sit there and attack me for
yeah.
stuff that they want to twist and turn and say he's not a perfect person.
Yeah. Well, I said this hate is easy. Love takes devotion and surrender to Christ. We got to
Yeah.
take a break. Only got a minute or two left. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Okay. I'm ready. I want to give a thank you and a shout out to Steve Verrier, the FloridaMortgageCenter.com. Thank you for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay. Oh, that was a mouthful. I mean, how do you love the unlovable? God does it, that's for sure. I mean,
You got to turn it to God.
Oh,
And you know what? I have a very big
do you
motto.
think you're unlovable?
No, I have a very big motto in my life.
Okay.
Focus on my side of the street.
Mm,
And if you notice, I say these things and do these things. These are about me. When
mm.
people start attacking,
That's when you start.
that's when I
When you
start
start
pushing them off
retaliating.
and saying, "Hey, this is none of your business. You don't have a right to say this. I've got a right to say I love God. I've got a right to pray in front of meetings. I've got a right to celebrate my recovery." I had one person mad that I'm public about my recovery. I said, I'm fine with it. I think the disease of addiction loves the darkness. It loves to keep it hidden.
It does.
I've stayed
I-
sober because people like you go to events with me and you know I'm in sobriety and you'll kick my rear if I go to drink.
Oh my God. I'm
And you've been there
your
with me.
your drink of choice is a Diet Coke, no ice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But it used to be a
And-
captain in diet.
Really?
Yeah, skinny captain.
Ah,
yeah.
okay. Well, now I know. Well, thank you so much for being so candid on the show. Win or lose, you're okay with it?
I'm fine. It's
You're
in
fine.
God's hands. The battle isn't a position. The battle is in my heart. My heart doesn't change because of the position.
Mm.
My heart is engaged in saving this country, saving this community, and creating a safe and lovable future for our kids. God does say in the Bible, if we turn back, he'll spare this earth. And I'm hoping still, I'm praying that we are a nation that turns back.
Yeah, well, we got to repent. That's for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Examine yourself
Yeah.
and see what you may be addicted to. And I'm not going to say that I like to shop all the time, but, it might be a
You wanna go
possible-
shopping?
It might be a... Yes.
My credit card.
Oh!
Look at those eyes.
Oh, wait. I thought you were bankrupt.
I am bankrupt. You can't.
All right. Don't... Hold on. That's too much for my closing. All right, let's try this. Go again. I'm like, wait, I thought you were bankrupt.
Mark, did you see her get triggered?
No.
Shopping?
Shopping. We're going shopping.
We're going
Actually,
shopping. Joe Mullins is taking me shopping. Wait a minute, he's bankrupt.
Hold on, wait. I thought you were bankrupt. First of all, you should pay for my radio show since you get accused of paying for my radio show. Can
I
you
can't.
at
I'm
least...
bankrupt. Oh my gosh! And I put people in bad living conditions that don't have to pay rent that we want them to pay rent.
Be nice.
I'm being nice.
Be
but,
nice.
I mean, I didn't listen. Is nice not making them not homeless? Think about that. I'm
Y'all see
getting
what I have to
criticized.
deal with, right?
I'm getting
Y'all-
criticized
y'all
for
see-
being
y'all
nice.
see this? This is nothing. Y'all should see when the camera isn't rolling how he is. How Annie and I be going back and forth. Woosah. Okay, this was actually a decent show.
It
Normally,
was
it
because
really
I kept
was
my
a good
mouth
show.
shut.
Okay, you ready? You know what I say? Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? You're going to turn everything over to Jesus and pray that you'll be better off for it, because you will. God bless you and have a great day.
Thank you.